Maximize freedom, essentially. I like that definition.
In artificial intelligence, the AI control problem is the issue of how to build a superintelligent agent that will aid its creators, and avoid inadvertently building a superintelligence that could render humanity extinct. Elon Musk, among many other public thinkers, has publicly raised concerns about the risks involved in the creation of a digital superintelligence. Musk has warned that AI could spell the end of the human race. We should therefore proceed very carefully in the development of AI systems. One of the solutions for the AI control problem proposed by Elon Musk is the integration of AI with the human brain through a brain-computer interface, sometimes called a neural control interface and a brain-machine interface, or BMI. In 2016, Elon Musk founded the American neurotechnology company called Neuralink, which is a company focused on the development of implantable brain-machine interfaces. This technology involves a module placed outside the head that wirelessly receives information from thin, flexible electrode threads embedded in the brain. The threads will be embedded by a robotic apparatus with the intention to avoid damaging blood vessels.
In terms of things that I think are important to bear in mind, this, I think, has a very good purpose, which is to cure important diseases and ultimately to help secure humanity's future as a civilization relative to AI. The threads are very tiny, and there's a lot of them, and they're very carefully placed. And the operation on a per-chip basis involves just a 2mm incision, which is dilated to 8mm, and then the chip is placed through that, and then it goes back to being 2mm, and you can basically glue it shut. You don't even need a stitch.
The system is expected to include as many as 3,072 electrodes per array distributed across 96 threads, each 4 to 6 micrometers in width. Musk described it as, "It's like a Fitbit for your skull with tiny wires." He has claimed that in principle, Neuralink's BMI will be able to fix anything that's wrong with the brain. Musk also hopes future iteration of the Neuralink device will offer symbiosis with artificial intelligence. That way we could merge with machines and hopefully avoid a possible digital apocalypse.
So the interface to the chip is wireless. So you have no wires poking out of your head. Very, very important. It's basically Bluetooth to your phone. This is something that is going to be not stressful to put in. It should work well, hopefully, and it's wireless. So this, I think, has tremendous potential, and we hope to have this aspirationally in a human patient before the end of next year. So this is not far.
Musk has described the potential advent of digital superintelligence as the scariest problem to me and more pressing than climate change. Musk said that he sees the creation of digital superintelligences as a great risk to the existence of humanity, but he also thinks that we must nevertheless pursue its development. This may seem like a contradiction to many people, but the development of AI technology is unique to our species' history, because it can either prove to be the best or the worst invention ever. Either way, it may very well be the last invention of humankind, for better or for worse. Elon Musk and many others fear it could be the latter. The creation of digital superintelligence may help us achieve the next level of human evolution. Reducing existential risk from superintelligent AI may be extremely difficult, but the integration of humans with AI may improve the probability of a good outcome. One possible strategy is to continue to increase the intelligence and values of AI systems, while simultaneously improving our understanding of human cognition. At some point, the rate of human intelligence and the rate of AI intelligence could converge. Although this may seem a desirable result, there is a significant chance that such a superintelligence would be malevolent. Current trends in AI research seem to be leading towards this endgame. Another possible outcome could be that humanity and superintelligence will converge, resulting in an intelligence explosion, in which the value of brute force intelligence approaches infinity.
But we do want a close coupling between collective human intelligence and digital intelligence. Neuralink is trying to help in that regard by creating a high bandwidth interface between AI and human brain. We're already a cyborg in the sense that your phone and your computer are kind of an extension of you.
Stephen Hawking suggested that artificial intelligence could be the worst invention of the century, and that an AI will eventually look back on humanity and either decide we are irrelevant or harmful, and so we need to be destroyed, or they will simply follow their programming and decide to maximize the amount of good in the world.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful. But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
Welcome to the Neuralink Show and Tell. So we've got an amazing amount of new developments to share with you that I think are incredibly exciting, as well as tell you about the future of what we're planning to do here. It's now this is meant to be a technical podcast, sort of like a. I'm going to provide an overall summary. And then we're going to have a number of members of the Neuralink team come in and give a deep technical overview of the various areas. So so let me move forward with the overall summary. Now, some of the things I'm going to say are things if you've been following Neuralink, you've already heard before, but for a lot of people out there, they've no idea what Neuralink does. And so I will be a little bit repetitive of things you may already know, but that others do not. So. The overarching goal of Neuralink is to create ultimately a whole brain interface. So a generalized input-output device that, in the long term, literally could interface with every aspect of your brain, and in the short term can interface with any given section of your brain and solve a tremendous number of things that cause debilitating issues for people. So, so our long term is I'll talk a little bit about our long term goal. It's going to sound a little esoteric, but it was actually the sort of my prime motivation, which was, what do we do about AI? Like, what do we do about artificial general intelligence if we have digital superintelligence that's just much smarter than any human? How do we mitigate that risk? And then even in a benign scenario where the AI is very, very benevolent, then how do we even go along for the ride? How do we participate? And the conclusion, the thing that the biggest limitation in going along for the ride and in aligning AI, I think, is the bandwidth, the how quickly you can interact with the computer. So we are all already cyborgs in a way, in that your phone and your computer are extensions of yourself. And I'm sure you found, like, if you leave your phone behind, you end up tapping your pockets, and it's like having missing limb syndrome. Like, where the phone is leaving your phone behind is kind of like a missing limb at this point. You're so used to interfacing with it. You're so used to being a de facto cyborg. So what's the limitation on a phone or a laptop? The limitation is the rate at which you can receive and send information, especially the speed with which you can. With a phone, it's limited by the speed at which you can move your thumbs, or the speed at which you can talk into your phone. This is an extremely low data rate. Maybe it's like 10, optimistically 100 bits per second, but a computer can communicate at gigabits, terabits per second. So that's an esoteric explanation that I think will appeal to a niche audience, some of whom may be here. But And that's a very difficult problem. So even if we do not succeed with that problem, I think we are confident at this point that we will succeed at many. It's solving many brain injury issues, spine injury issues along the way. And we've been working hard to be ready for our first human, and obviously we want to be extremely careful and certain that it will work well before putting a device in a human. But we've submitted, I think, most of our paperwork to the FDA, and we think probably in about 6 months we should be able to have our first Neuralink in a human. So. But as I said, we do everything we possibly can to test the devices before, not even going into a human, before even going into an animal. So we do benchtop testing, we do accelerated life testing. Now this video is now 18 months old. So this is Pager, who is playing monkey mind pong. So this is Pager has a Neuralink implant in this video, and the thing that's interesting is that you can't even see the neural implant. So we've miniaturized the neural implant to the point where it matches the thickness of the skull that is removed. So it's essentially it's sort of like having an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, replacing a piece of skull with like a smartwatch, for lack of a better analogy. So you can see, he looks he's normal. And I think that's pretty important. If you have a Neuralink device, like I could have a Neuralink device implanted right now, and you wouldn't, you wouldn't even know. I mean, hypothetically, maybe one of these demos, in fact, one of these demos I will. Yeah. So anyway, so here's first of all, it's kind of wild. Hey, monkeys can play Pong. They can actually play Pong if you give them a joystick. So Pedro first learned to play Pong with a joystick. So I'm like, that was novel. It's like I didn't know monkeys could play Pong, but they can. And then so we first trained Pedro to play Pong with a joystick. Then we took the joystick away and have the Neuralink, and now he's playing telepathic video games essentially. So what we've been doing since then is we've been on the very difficult journey from prototype to product, and I've often said that prototypes are easy. Production is hard. It's sure that things are stable and replicable, and that that the device lasts for a long time without degradation. So, and what you're seeing there is, it looks like the Matrix, but that's actually that's a real output of neural signals. So that's not a simulation or just a screensaver or something. Those are actual neurons firing. That is what one of the readouts looks like. And here you can see Sake, it's one of our other monkeys, typing on a keyboard. Now this is telepathic typing. So to be clear, he's not actually using a keyboard. He's moving the cursor with his mind to the highlighted key. Now technically, we can't actually spell, and so I don't want to oversell this thing, because that's the next version. But what's really cool here is Sake the monkey is moving the mouse cursor, using just his mind, moving the cursor around to the highlighted key, and then spelling out what what we want to spell. But and then so this is something that could be used for somebody who's say quadriplegic or tetraplegic human, even before we make the spinal cord stuff work, is being able to control a mouse cursor, control a phone, and we're confident that someone who has basically no other interface to the outside world would be able to control their phone better than someone who has working hands. So. Yeah. And I mentioned upgradability. Upgradability is very important because our first production device will be much like an iPhone 1. And I'm pretty sure you would not want an iPhone 1 stuck in your head if the iPhone 14 is available. Being able to demonstrate full reversibility and upgradability, so you can remove a device and replace it with the latest version, or if it stopped working for any reason, replace it. That's a fundamental requirement for the device at Neuralink. And I should say both Sake and Pager were upgraded to our latest and greatest implants. So that's been really over a year and a half now that Pager's had for the first implant and then the upgraded implant. So this is a very good sign that it lasts for a long time with no observed ill effects. I think it's also important to show that Sake actually likes doing the demo and is not like strapped to the chair or anything. The monkeys actually enjoy doing the demos because they get the banana smoothie, and it's kind of a fun game. So I guess Smart Trim is like we care a great deal about animal welfare, and I'm pretty sure like our monkeys are pretty happy, you know. So as you can see, a quick decision maker on the fruit front. So for the first two applications we're going to aim for in humans are restoring vision, and I think this is like notable in that even if someone has never had vision ever, like they were born blind, we believe we can still restore vision. Because the visual part of the cortex is still there. And then the other application being in the motor cortex, where we would initially enable someone who has no ability, almost no ability to operate their muscles, you know, sort of like a sort of Stephen Hawking type situation, and enable them to operate their phone faster than someone who has working hands. But then obviously even better than that would be to bridge the connection. Take the signals from the motor cortex, and let's say somebody's got a broken neck, then bridging those signals to Neuralink devices located in the spinal cord. So we're confident there are no physical limitations to enabling full body functionality. I mean, as miraculous as it may sound, we're confident that it is possible to restore full body functionality to someone who has a severed spinal cord.
I mean, if we take it that it's inevitable at this point, that some version of AI is coming down the line, how do we steer through that?
Well, I'm not normally an advocate of regulation and oversight. I mean, I think one should generally err on the side of minimizing those things. But this is a case where you have a very serious danger to the public. And so therefore, there needs to be a public body that has insight and then oversight to confirm that everyone is developing AI safely. This is extremely important. I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. And nobody would suggest that we allow anyone to just build nuclear warheads if they want. That would be insane. And mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. Far. So why do we have no regulatory oversight?